Good afternoon. I'd made this video before and I'm beginning to feel like Joel Berlinger and Miss Seeley myself. Some of the things had personal identifiable information. My name is Mary Conley. I live in Jacksonville, Florida. And what I'm doing now is giving my biographics, my history basically, particularly pertaining to the time that a friend of mine and myself during summer band in 1967 did end up in the red Volkswagen that apparently Bundy had rented and drove to Jacksonville or some other place. I have got a very bad headache in April. I've been threatened and trying to intimidate me, and I don't appreciate that. The witness agrees that the ride happened, and the reason that has to take effect is apparently she's told people over the years. Let me say something real quick. The ride happened around June 5th in 1967. So on and so forth. There's no internet. The police to take a suspect card, they would have just put on a 3x5 card and put it in a speckly box. I told you that. We didn't tell anybody. I had written in my diary, the so-called friend said, "Oh no, you can't write it in your diary. Your mom will read your diary. We were hitchhiking. He displayed a gun. We'll get in big trouble. We'll get in big trouble." So I had to be, at that time, I don't understand why there was, Bonnie, Elizabeth Moore, my coworker at VITA, said she was the only other dance major in FSU in 1978 from Jacksonville. Cheryl Thomas was the other one from Jacksonville. She said she's trying to intimidate you. And I'm not having it. I have the right to freedom of speech. What the hell? But anyway, at least I have a hostile witness. Okay, so here's my biographics, and hopefully I won't put personally identifiable information on there. It's sad. But I was going to say, so that was 67. We gradually faded away with our friendship. They went to University of Florida. I went to UNF. I had a turmoil, broken relationships, non-functioning relationships, relationship with professor, on and on. Okay, so this is my life. It was kind of a turmoil life, but I puddled through. I did 37 years with IRS. So in the 90s, we started getting a little bit more internet. The internet wasn't like it was now, but I said, I'm going to try to research a little, and then that's when I found out his eyes were blue, and I said, what the hell? His eyes were black eyes, hollow, vacant eyes, and he had a unibrow. Okay, so that was that. So I contacted pseudonym Rebecca Weiss, another childhood friend. I said, Julia, you still have contact? She says, yeah, I have some contact. And they were married, she had a child. Julia had apparently several, one or two, whatever. She said, I'll contact Julia and see if she remembers the ride. Julia said, nope, don't remember any of it. And I remember thinking at the time, let's say that was 25 years ago. I said, well, she's 12. I may not understand a 12-year-old mind at the time. 2, maybe drugs and alcohol played a factor in her life. Maybe she had many other odd events and she just didn't remember. So, all right, move on. She doesn't remember. How am I going to prove this? You can't. I never mentioned it JSO. In 78, okay, so we knew he was. His name was Theodore Bundy. 1967, he seemed like he was an asshole. He was scary. He was frightening. We got out of the vehicle. That was that. An unfortunate event. Although she did talk to him some more. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to jump ahead. So I'm not going to jump ahead of the things that gave me a headache and what I figured out. But anyway, so that was 67. 78, all hell breaks loose. I left JSO. My name was in infamy. But the newspaper apparently ran that article with the FBI thing. And there's all these pictures, and there's his name. I took that article. I ran down to Rebecca's mother, my godmother, Susu from Bedford, Sturtevant. I ran down the corner. I said, look, this is the asshole we rode with. This is the guy we rode with. Well, at that time, Rebecca was at the University of Florida getting a marketing degree. And I assumed Julia was either finishing up her nursing degree or had gone to Saudi Arabia or was up in New York in an emergency room. That was that. But I was satisfied. This is him. This is the guy. And I can't remember other than, it seemed anticlimactic. I said, well, that was him. I never thought I'd ever hear this name again. I certainly didn't know of any deaths going on across the nation or anything like that until, So then time went on along. Trying to think. Like I said, in 95 or something, I don't remember. I can't remember any of it. Okay, I said, damn, what the hell? So then more time went on. In 2008 or 9, I called Ann Rule. She said, yes, he did like Volkswagens, but it was non-committal. It's like, maybe yes, maybe no, that's too far away, whatever. Okay, so then that went on. And then, trying to think. Anyway, some of the pieces of Rob Dillon, the neurobiologist, wrote a timeline, which was very helpful. But anyway, I found out some things. I've got about 10 things that are very strange. That when she admitted, even though she threatened a lawsuit, she admitted the ride. She said, I don't know why you're obsessed with something 50 that happened. That happened 53 years ago. She cannot say that we didn't ride in a court of law because she's told friends, families, and coworkers of the ride. She's told others of the ride, maybe even some students in a class she held. I don't know. It doesn't matter. So that part, at least I have a witness. That's probably why I got so sick that night. 23 months of studying this, trying to prove something, and there's a person out there that would have admitted the ride. If she admitted the ride in the 90s, I probably would see, there you go, what a fluky thing. I wouldn't have found out the other unfortunate family connection for Julia and her sisters. But anyway, I'm gonna go you that's surmising. So let me give you my biographics. This is my father in 1936. He was born in 1918. And this is Norfolk, Virginia. I assume he's 18 in this picture. So 18 and 18, what is that? 36. 1936, he joins the Navy. Yeah, that's correct, 1936. That is when he joined the Navy. My father was a divorcee, and my half-sister is Jane, and they lived in Middleburg, Florida, and Green Cove. And this is my mom that he met at Johnstown Naval Station. She was a riveter. They said she looked like Dorothy Lamour. And this is my dad and mom, I guess, as they embarked on marital life in 1949. Right. This is me and my brother and my mom getting ready to go to Easter services. I'm wearing that taffeta or Chanel, whatever it is. It itched the hell out of you, doesn't it? There's the Bible. This is our home in Cedar Hills, which was purchased the year after my birth in Pensacola. This is the Department of Treasury Albert Gallatin Award for Mary Conley. Before the 13 colonies became the United States, a future American citizen who could play a vital role in establishing the financial soundness of the new nation was born in Geneva, Switzerland, which is apropos because my people are Austrian. Anyway, on and on it goes, and that was September 16, the year that I retired a few years back. And then this is another thing from Treasury. Come on. I mean, I'm not resentful of these people, but there's something more to the story from his 20 and a half years. This is 37 years with the Internal Revenue Service. September 16, is it John Koskanen? Yeah, it doesn't look like John, though. John Koskanen. I met him. I was real close with working on that offshore project. And loyal service, right? Okay. This is from the Department of the Army. And, oh, please say you can't read that. I swear to God. Okay, this is where I went through basic training in 1978. Let's see. August of 78. Interesting. Okay. This is my bachelor's degree from the University of North Florida, 1984, majoring in criminal justice. I hate having to do this twice. I made a mistake and I didn't you can't edit it. This is Associate in Arts in 1979, majoring in criminal justice, but it's just liberal arts. I don't know if they still have that. This is criminal justice and law enforcement, 1980. Had to get things piece by piece. This is 1995. An associate in science and accounting technology, And then here's an honorable discharge from the United States Army. I did a 3-year tour and a 5-year tour, but I was in active ready reserve some too. Here's an honorable discharge from Florida Army National Guard. And here's my scores on the Asvab. I scored, here, oh man, you can't read it. General Technical was 128, Clerical 133. They said the average IQ was 130. And I scored in the 92nd percentile. So, then I had a couple other copies of that. I'm sorry, I had to make this twice. It's really a pain, but I did it, and I know it will take all night for it to download. Then I sent away for this thing. It was a Mensa, and I had my half-nephew, Jeremy. We went to a T-Man game. I think it was either the T-Man, Jacksonville T-Man soccer group, or the Jacksonville Bulls, which was a AFC football league they had before the Jaguars. And so it was in 82, I don't know which, June 11th, creepy. And I took this, and I scored 148, and I got in the 98th percentile, and it's self-administered, and it said, let's see, your IQ on the Cattell score is 148. You yourself would be able to judge whether you would like to take a supervised test. 2 tests will be given. The minimum level for admission to a supervised test is IQ 148 on the Cattell scale and 132 on the California test of mental maturity. Our opinion that it would probably be worthwhile for you to take the supervised test. But like I said, it was during a football game. And then this is my mom and me. And I wish I had the car, as I said in the last video. I wish I had that car. And unfortunately, there's a pack of cigarettes. Here's my brother, and I don't think that's a BB gun. What the hell? Poor Johnny. Anyway, see the white sand? There's a lot of these pine forests, and the sand is not black like Philadelphia or even clay-like in Tennessee. It's white sand. What's wrong with that car? What's hanging down in the car? Isn't that odd? What the hell is that? I don't know why there's a piece of cardboard there on the outside of the window. It's very strange. And my dad buy these used cars from time to time. All right, he was a mechanic too, so aircraft mechanic. This is my mom and dad at Mayport. Marine Land. Look at the cactus. You know, they have the fruit on the cactus. And then pseudonym Julia, my friend, her sister Barbara, middle sister, and her older sister Cece and Cicely. Now the mom and the older daughter had the same name. Let's say like Anne and Annie. So I'm going to call them Cece and Cicely. And this is a type of outfits that Cece would choose. They were over-sexualized. I don't know how to say that, but like, in other words, if you were their host, they would encourage you to use mascara. Well, I was a fair-haired girl and kind of a tomboy. And the only mascara they had in 68, 69 was brown or black. And you put that on a child, they're going to look like a hoot owl, and it's going to be dripping down their face. Plus, I mean, I don't know what, I don't even use it now. My eyebrow, I have allergies. No, thank you. It's not me. Yes, I can put on foundation and makeup and lipstick and highlight my cheekbones, which are high, but I don't need all that other garbage. No, thank you. Not the birthmark that Cece would always put on her face. She looked exactly like Elizabeth Taylor. And she used that. She emulated Elizabeth Taylor because she worked in the heart of Jacksonville. And she was an organist and a hostess in the heart of Jacksonville, a motel hotel. And I just wonder if this guy, if she gave him his phone number, what the heck? But then he could have picked us off. I'm not going to go into detail. I'm going to show you that in some other video. I'm going to show you some things. What I've surmised happened. Why he was even at Jeb Stuart. Which I had all this talk about the apartment complexes. And that's what I thought Danny Palmer and them were building. But back in the day, they were actually building a subdivision called Confederate Point, just over the ridge. And that would have been apropos if you needed temporary day labor to fuel yourself to get back to Stanford where you belong. Because I don't know what he was doing here. What kind of high wire? It takes 3.5 to 5.5 days to get here. Why would you do that? If you're coming from Seattle all the way down to Jacksonville, first you got to go all the way down to San Francisco, and then and the tag was white and black, but now it turns out it probably was a dark green on tan. It was probably dark green on white. It wasn't a Florida tag, it wasn't a Pennsylvania tag, and it wasn't a California tag. They were all solid colors of some type. This one was like a tan with very dark, and I came up behind it because that's what I did. That's how I was. And I wasn't all that interested in summer band because I would go to places like Pickwick Dam where Aunt Bobby had a cabin and have fried chicken and play in the lake. And my Aunt Bobby, there was something called Pickwick Dam and it wasn't finished. And for some reason, she took off on my Uncle Dee's Oldsmobile with several of us cousins in there and my mom in the passenger side. And she's driving all across there, and it's a giant concrete, maybe 6, 8 floors high, and on the other side is a lake, and again, 6 or 8 floors high, and it's one lane. And she's driving on across this thing, and then it turns out it wasn't finished. We came to an end. And my mom says, perchance, perhaps, the children should get out. And I didn't want to even get out because it was too narrow. I mean, you could go tumbling down that thing. It was like 6 floors high. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So Aunt Bobby said, no, everyone will stay in and we'll back up. And we had to back up to the beginning. So I guess I looked at tags and stuff, and cars weren't that great in about 65 and 66, a vacation at Pickwick Dam. Think about it. Anyway, that's one of my vacation stories. We also went to Daytona. We went to Willow Grove. Johnstown Navy Base was right off my grandmother's property, right on the border of property. I think the FBI agents even came and interviewed them because they were immigrants from Germany. Okay, in the 20s. So this is me in high school. I wish that wasn't whatever happened to that. And then this is my brother as he headed to Vietnam in 1969 or 70. So that was going on during I was in high school. Never knowing when my brother might come home in a wooden box. Vietnam did affect him. He got an Army Commendation Medal for valor. Then, this is that summer, apparently. Or it might have been that fall. Gene Eccles, Mary Conley, and Elmer. That's about how I looked in 67. I'm sure it was 67, but it wasn't exactly the same date. This, I think, is 68, so this is a year later. This is where we went up to Riviera Apartment. I'm behind Greg Parker's house. Stanley Parker went to the University of Utah with Bundy as a lawyer. He became a lawyer, but unfortunately he died in his sleep a few years back. That's me in 68. The Parkers had a swimming pool. That's why there's a ridge there. And we're always begging Greg to get in that swimming pool. This is 1963, approximately. That's my grandfather, Carl Adolf Steltzer. His wife, Emma Louise Wieland Steltzer. And they had let him home, and he wasn't doing well. He had a form of, I guess, non-Hodgkin's or some kind of lymphoma. And he didn't live much longer after that. And on the picture here is Walter, a cousin who got to go to Heidelberg. There was a riff in the family because after the war, he got to go to Heidelberg. A scary place up there, bats and everything. This is 1957. I would have been 3 years old. My grandmom had some sheep up there. Okay, this I guess is Atlantic City. There's my mom and my brother on the boat. I wasn't born yet. My brother was born in 51, March of 51, so he was just a little over a year. There's my grandmom Steltzer, and I was thinking about that heavy-duty boat and them waves. If the waves are like Jacksonville, I wouldn't want to be, or that thing break your ribs or something. Oh no. I think this is 6th grade. It was a year before we run into Bundy. And here's my Honda car and Dad's Impala. I don't don't know why I got all these. This is the, when I did get to drive at 15, I drove this Impala. I'm sorry, it's a Bel Air, and it has a flower power on it. That's the Bel Air that I drove. Okay. This is August of 67. This is Janice Fagan Delator Richardson now. She is a PhD. And that's August of 67. That was after the rod. Johnny did have a vehicle, a motorcycle, Honda motorcycle. We were leaning against it. Wonder that thing didn't fall over. I was scowling because my dad took the picture. But it is amazing how much I look like some of the victims. Damn. This is later. I think this might be the fall of 67. Or maybe the end of 66 or something. I don't know. Who knows? Around that era. Here's a picture of me and Johnny in 1962. April of 62. I was born in 54. So 6, 7, 8. I can't be 8 years old. Maybe it's not me. No, I'm sure it's me. Who else could it be? I don't look like a very mature 8-year-old, though, do I? Let's see, 54 to 60 is 6. Maybe I was 7 something. Probably 7.5 or something. Who knows? I can't figure. My mind doesn't work like that right now. This is me and Janice's sniffles in front of our house. And again, now I can't help it. There's another picture in the Phantom Prince that looks a lot like that. Damn, this guy was just shit, man. I'm telling you. This is December 73, and I had a little Harley Davidson 100cc to a fishtail. Look, I even have a candy apple red helmet. That was a little greedy thing, wasn't I? Because I also had the Vega. See my Vega? That was a good car, and I didn't keep it long enough. I was imitating my brother. You see that? That's why I went through so many cars. Here's my father in the corner, AOC, ACO, whatever. And he's on the USS Randolph in Bermuda. It is Randolph. Where did I say that? I don't know why I know. I don't know what he was on, to tell you the truth. I can't guess that. So this is my mom who worked for the War Department. Okay. This is August of 67. I love that little surfer shirt that I wore it everywhere. But anyway, this is me in 67 of August, a couple months after the encounter. That's my Aunt Opal, my Grandmom Conley at Mayport Naval Station. They have you can see on the ocean too. They had come from Mississippi. See, the vacations were very much apart. My dad would take 2 weeks. So this then is Susu. We'll call her Susu Weiss, my godmother, who I told. And then there's my mom, and they're in the kitchen having a coffee clutch. And there. And then again, this is my mom and Susu, and they both passed not too long after this. My mom had lung cancer, and Miss Susu had she had built the planes in Alabama, boats in Alabama, and she got asbestos poisoning. So, all right, this is the house that they bought after I was born in Pensacola. This is 1959, so I assume I was 4 years old, and there's my brother, who's about 8. He was born in 51. This is the USS Randolph aircraft carrier in Naples, Italy. Let's see, Naples, Italy. USS Randolph. I don't know what CVA is. Here's me in the 90s, or later, I don't know, 2000, and maybe 2000, about 99, 2000. That's the Main Street Bridge downtown, Riverwalk. It's hard. This is my dad in front of a LaSalle at Disney World, Universal Studios. This is a LaSalle. He said that was a good car. He died short. He died in 2002. My mom died in 98 of lung cancer. She was young. This is me at Baptist where I used to work out, and I just was trying to get some pictures. I like those shoes. That was also probably in the 90s. Then This is my mom. This is FSCJ, the Florida Community College of Jacksonville. Before it became a college, and for a long time after, this was Navy housing. They were houses. They were literally like little houses, a couple bedrooms, a living room, and a bath, and a kitchenette. And they were divided in the middle, and one family be on one side, another family be on the other side. No, that isn't me. That's some child that lived there, and I don't know what they're looking at on that woman. It looked like they were looking at her breasts. Like, no, they're not even, or so. I don't know what they were talking about. You better go get it checked out, lady, whatever it is. That's my mom with her hair in the knot, in the shorts. Okay, this is me in one of the marathons. The other video, I said it was 2.5. It was 4.5 hours. I think one was 4:26, and I did 95 and 96 because Oprah said she was doing them, so I said I can do them. And I think that guy right there may have been in my Army Reserve unit, Mike or something, I don't know. But anyway, 95 and 96. And I will go into the videos as Bonnie wants and describe how this fluke happened and did not report because the other party didn't remember. In 90s, I said, does Julia remember? No, she didn't remember nothing. Okay, thank you. You know, and all I could think was, one, how much drugs and alcohol did you do in the 60s and 70s that you don't remember a young man pulling a revolver on us? Two, I can't, maybe 12-year-old, she saw him from the side. She didn't see that face. And maybe she was so desperate for a man in her life because her father and mother were divorced. So anyway, I've been busy the last 14 days getting ready to get a new septic tank and drain field. This is phase 1. That was my background. So that gives you an idea. This will take all night to upload. Luckily, the biographical information has been blacked out, I hope. Please leave me alone, folks. I have enough issues.